All right, Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory goes on to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and many blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel, men, women, and children. Shalom. Lord willing, this lesson is brief, straight to the point, and edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be, a quick hit. And I just want to do a lesson centering around, the ancient hatred that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, have towards the Israelites, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and we know according to prophecy, okay, it pretty much highlights that Esau is a so-called white man and that we are the Israelites. Okay, because like I said, this is an ancient hatred going all the way back to the beginning, right? And they still exhibit the same hatred. Okay, and of course you're gonna have Jake that they're gonna disagree of what we're saying, especially these wacky tacky Christians, that that want to try to make it as if Esau Edom ain't the white man. All right, when the scriptures say the earth's been given into the hands of the wicked, and we already know who runs this current world right now. Right, it's the white man, Esau Edom. Right, this is his rulership. This is his kingdom that we're under right now. Okay, but sticking with the topic at hand, right? I just want to, do a very quick lesson dealing with the hatred that Esau have towards the Israelites. So, this is the book of Genesis 27, and I'm gonna start at verse 38. It says, "And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck." Right? So, also when you go into Genesis 25, I believe, Esau, he gave up his birthright, right? Because, Esau, he was the firstborn, but he gave it up, okay? And ultimately, it was of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Of course, we know that Jacob was meant to get the birthright because this is his, this is the Lord's, program, right? And he made it to where Esau will give up, his birthright. You see, and now it says here that he was blessed with the sword, right? The fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, right? And so he would currently be the ruler, right, of this current world, because he conquered the world with the blessing that he received from his father Isaac, right? The sword, the guns, the military, okay, going to different countries, bombing them, right, taking their resources. You see, that's how he would conquer the world, and also he would deceive everybody, okay, to make it to where the Heavenly Father, his only begotten Son, the angels, the prophets, the Israelites were so-called white people, right? And that's a deception, right? That has been spread all throughout the earth. All right. And now the truth is coming out. You see who the true Israelites are, who Esau Edom really is. You see? So, you know, all this truth coming out, and that's something that Esau tried to hide from the Israelites, because he didn't tell us who we were as a people. Okay, that pretty much shows you that the Lord made it to where uh, we will have uh, what's the word, enmity against each other. But this is verse 41. He says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So this was a ancient hatred going back to Genesis, and Esau to this very day still exhibit that same hatred towards us, right? Esau, they do these videos, mocking, right, the Hebrew Israelites. They still do that. They still, call us niggers and, all these different derogatory terms that they slap on us, because this is an ancient hatred, okay, that they have towards us, man. All right. And that's why Esau ultimately, beginning with, the top wicked at least, because they know that they descend from Esau, right? And ultimately they try to get the birthright back, okay? But like I said, the birthright wasn't theirs to begin with. This is Malachi chapter 1 in verse 2. It says, I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So the Lord has a perpetual hatred towards Esau. And Esau was created to be the wicked, to be the adversary to the nation of Israel. So that's why so-called Negroes and so-called white people pretty much clash against each other, right? Because once again, this is a ancient hatred, okay? And prophecy shows us that Esau, Edom, is the so-called white man, right? The things that he done to us in times past, right? And all that information is coming out. The truth is flourishing, you see? And that they will be greatly despised in these last days. Verse 4, it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Right? So Lord has a perpetual hatred towards Esau, Edom, right? And all the blood that they have shed in this country called America, and guess what? There's going to be a righteous recompense, because like I said, prophecy, is showing us that the so-called white man is Esau, right? According to the scriptures, and we know this, right? But you're going to have, Jakes that are Christians, they're going to try to, say he's not the white man, everybody can be saved, and they're blinded, all right? That's why we don't take Christians seriously. We don't want to be around them. We don't want to talk to them, because, the mysteries of the kingdom is only for a selected few. This is Ezekiel 35:5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And I want to highlight that the perpetual hatred. And yes, they have shed the blood of the children of Israel. Okay? Mainly here in America, right? Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord of power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See if thou have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? And eventually, Esau is going to get judged. Okay? They're going to get judged, right? They're going to go into captivity for a rough, rigorous 1,000 years. And then Obadiah 1:18, right, says what? There shall be no remaining of the house of Esau. Okay? So this man's rulership is coming to an end. Okay? And there's nothing he can do about it. But like I said, it's just a quick hit. Lord willing, you were edified. All praises, honor, and glory goes on to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, or Kakordash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, who rule and teach well, peace, and many blessings unto the elect. Shalom.